Hey, what's going on? Today we're going to talk about convolution reverb and some tips for finding sounds in your environment to see if we can spark some inspiration. Okay, so what is convolution reverb? Convolution reverb is a type of reverb that uses IRs or impulse responses, which just means sample or sound recording. And it allows you to use those samples or sound recordings to simulate the reverb of a particular environment. Okay, so what does that mean for like a human? I'll give you an example. This particular room here sounds bad, and by that I mean it doesn't sound good. I'll switch over to the audio on my phone. I'm recording with the voice memo app, and you can hear that it doesn't sound good in here at all. But let's just say that I wanted to capture this room because it did sound good, or there was a characteristic that I liked about it. With convolution reverb, it allows you to do that. I'm kind of close to this. Hold on, let me move over here. Ow. So now I've captured the sound of this room, and then we can take it over to the DAW and I can show you what I'm talking about. And then what we'll do is we'll go out and just grab some sounds from different places and see if something cool comes out of it. Bye. Hey, okay, so I have a TR-808 loop here. We're just gonna take a listen. I've duplicated that loop, and then on this one here, I have the M Convolution Easy from Melda Productions Audio Technologies, and their plugins are so sick, and I have no idea why they're free. It's free. Take a listen with this fully wet now. And we'll do 50%. Versus the dry. I've created a send, and I just duplicated that convolution reverb, and then I can feed this dry loop into this signal. It just takes these static loops and makes them, I don't know, like more interesting. We're gonna go find some more impulse responses. We're gonna go to different places and just do some claps and maybe find something else along the way. Okay, bye. Hey, we're at Weiser State Forest. We're gonna record some impulse responses and see if we can get some cool sounds out here. Hi. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, my partner Abigail and I were at the University of Pittsburgh. Also, you should check out Abigail's music. They do some really cool stuff with the Electron Model cycles, and I'll link it somewhere. At the University of Pittsburgh, we were at this crazy building called the Cathedral of Learning. Inside the building, it's real old-timey. It feels like you're in a castle. Unfortunately, while we were there, we didn't capture any video, but we did capture some samples, and it sounds like this. Cool. So I just wanted to add that one too.
Hi. So this is a really interesting art installation on my campus, and it's got some really interesting auditory effects. So when you stand in the center here, these two big pieces of metal or whatever they are create a really interesting reverb. This is what it sounds like out here, and this is what it sounds like in here.
All right, I'm gonna take you to a parking garage because I think there's gonna be some decent reverb that we can capture down there too.
Ooh, bad, weak. I'm gonna make a beat here on the model cycles so we can use some of the impulse responses we've been collecting, and we'll see how this goes. I always like this kick, but I always like this one. I always use this clap. The Electron Model cycles has the worst presets. the beat. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this beat. I'm gonna pan my low end to one side, my high end to the other side. Function, there we go, left, right, right.
Okay, so here are our samples. This was the Weiser State Park sample, another Weiser State Park sample. Here is the Cathedral of Learning. I love that, that's the best. This is the installation, very weird. And then this is the parking garage. I've created sends for each of them, so the Cathedral of Learning, the installation, the parking garage, and then Weiser State Forest for these last two. And then we can feed our samples into them. I have also created an instrument out of this initial sample. Let me see if I can find it. This was the original sample that we had, and it was just from the Cathedral of Learning. And then what I've done is I put it into a sampler or Ableton Simpler, and then I've set it to monophonic. And then I just came up with a simple melody for that. I think it'd be a good idea for us to add just one more drum rack, just so that we can isolate a couple of the sounds and play with these sends. Kick. I like that sound. Ooh, a clave. You know what? I think we need like an 808 sound better. Set up a choke group here for this 808 and this snare, and we'll set that to 1 so that we get this sort of... All right, and then see if we can come up with something. This track, I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to silence these. Let's do one more. We'll duplicate this. And I'm going to get the clave by itself. Let's name this so that we know what we're doing. I'll start with the clave. I already think that's really cool. So that's in the Cathedral of Learning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And run that. Let's take some of these tops and maybe take them to the State Forest. That's really cool. Here's the other State Forest. There's something that's really cool in this second sample where there was a reflection, maybe it was something far out in the distance that bounced back, and so you can sort of hear it. You hear the first initial hit, and then you hear something sort of coming back. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it. Sort of like it almost has like a delay effect. Let's hear what this sounds like in the parking garage. That sounds actually like appropriate. So what do we have? We have the Cathedral of Learning on the clave here, parking garage here. Maybe we can take this stuff and put this in the forest. This sort of seems like this would make sense to be like in a forest. Let's just hear it. That's pretty cool. Tri-level. Just let's take a listen and see what it sounds like. I think that's so cool. This is a sound sample that was recorded in the Cathedral of Learning, and then this sample was then taken to another space in a parking garage, and I think that that's really cool to capture those two sounds together. This is the installation, and it has a sort of slapback delay sort of sound to it, which I think sounds cool. We're gonna just use the high pass, and we're just gonna cut out some of the low end so that it doesn't muddy things up. Maybe we can just add a little, like a simple master on this just to give it a little bit of energy or life. EQ, just gonna cut out some of this unnecessary low end. Glue comp, I'm gonna let the transients get through. Oh, we're clipping. Oh no, we're headlining. We're gonna make up our volume that we cut here with EQ. We'll make it a little bit more edgy. I'm gonna throw a saturator on here, and we'll probably go to soft sign. Let's put a limiter on here. L2, -0.1. Okay, let's take a look and see what this sounds like with the sends off. And then with them back on. I hope that you found that interesting. You should go out, go find your own sounds, do some claps, and put them into your tracks that you're doing. See if you can find something cool, something that's uniquely your own. And have a good one. Bye.